If you watch this video all the way through, I guarantee it'll be the last video you'll ever need to watch on how to reprogram your subconscious mind. If you've ever tried positive thinking, affirmations, journaling, and it's never worked, and you keep hitting this invisible ceiling, it's because you can do all the conscious things that you possibly can, but if your subconscious mind, your subconscious programming is working against you, then you're never going to get the result. Ultimately, until you reprogram your subconscious mind, you're always going to be limited to the programs in your subconscious mind. The first question is, because you might not even know exactly what the subconscious mind is, so that is ultimately the first question that we've got. The first question is, what is the subconscious mind? Let me get this here. What is the subconscious mind? Well, it is the part of you that runs your life automatically. It's the program in the background, and it's responsible for your habits, your emotional reactions, your self-image and identity, what you expect, and the automatic behaviors that you carry out. And ultimately, this subconscious mind, it stores every belief, every memory, every pattern that you've ever formed, and it's mostly formed in your childhood. And what happens, because as a child, you're unconscious, you're forming a script that will run the rest of your life. It will completely dictate what the rest of your life looks like until you become consciously aware of the program and rewrite it. And in this video, I'm going to give you the exact clarity and awareness for you to rewrite this program, which is really exciting because it genuinely is going to give you the knowledge and awareness. What happens as well, this subconscious program and mind, it operates below conscious awareness. So that's why you're consciously trying really hard to get the result. You're consciously trying really hard to think positive and say the right things, and you just somehow are limited. You're just somehow not getting the result. And I'm laughing, but it's actually frustrating. And I understand that you will be frustrated if this is happening to you. So these numbers, 5% and 95%, these are just kind of random kind of numbers, right? But they are taken from guys at the top of the level, guys at the top of the game. They do refer to the 5% and 95%. The most important part about this is it gives us an understanding that the conscious mind, when we use 5%, is the minority. This is the minority of how we operate. The conscious mind does not dictate a lot of how we operate. The subconscious mind, however, when we use 95%, as we can understand, it dictates and programs the majority of our decisions, our emotional reactions, and the things that we expect. When I say expect, it's what we've normalized. It's what you expect in your life. Again, we'll make more sense of this as we're going on. But even if you consciously want something, so if you want the money, if you want the health, if you want the new identity, you want to be the new guy, the subconscious will always override. Okay, the subconscious will always override because you don't get what you want. You get what your subconscious expects. And that's why affirmations don't work unless you reprogram the subconscious mind. That's why saying I'm happy, I'm wealthy, I'm happy, I'm grateful all the time consciously doesn't get you results because you've tried it. You're watching this video because you've tried that before. And this is why most people fail. Most people fail, and you might have failed, and you probably have because you're watching this, not because you've not got the ability, you've not got the competence, you can't actually do it, you've not got the potential. It's nothing to do with that. It's because you're not aware of the subconscious programming that's limiting you. Your beliefs will completely reflect your reality. You will not be able to see reality in any other way other than in alignment with the beliefs that you hold subconsciously. So if you've formed these subconscious programming, right, okay, if you've formed these beliefs, you've had these memories as a child and you've formed these patterns, then your thinking as an adult will be dictated by that. The video below this one on my channel literally goes into that in detail. Okay, but let's understand the 3 ways. Make sure I've not got anything else down here because this was written before we started. So let's understand the 3 ways that you can reprogram the subconscious. Okay, so what are the 3 ways? Well, let's look at the first way. The first way is hypnosis and theta state. Okay, this is the ideal window for subconscious reprogramming. Okay, and what is this? Let's again speak about it. And this video is giving you awareness. I'm not saying things and you'll be like, what is that? I want you to know exactly what these things are and have absolutely no question, because there's no point in watching a video like this and me saying what I said at the start if I'm not actually going to give you the sauce, the real thing that actually makes sense and works, right? So this is when your brain is operating in theta waves. So your brain operates in different brain waves. You've got beta, right? And that's when you're conscious, that's when you're switched on, that's when you're alert. And you've got theta and you've got alpha as the kind of in-between stage. But theta state is the most effective state, okay, for you to be for you to sort of reprogram your subconscious mind. So when your brain is operating in theta brainwaves, okay, this is the same state that children live in for the first 7 years. And that's why when we speak about the subconscious mind and it's made of all these programs, well, mostly it's made from the programs that you've absorbed between 0 and 7. That's when you're in this theta state. And that's why beliefs are formed so easily when you're between the ages of 0 and 7. And that's why it's so evident to why you think it's hard to make money. Because if I ask you to answer this question in this sentence, money was X when I was growing up. So between the ages of 0 and 7, what was money for you? Was it abundant? Did you have a lot of opportunities? Was your mum and your dad really wealthy? Okay. If so, you probably think money's easy to make today. If you grew up and you were in poverty or you were below the average income and ultimately your parents didn't have a lot of money, today as an adult you will think it's hard to make money, or you'll be likely to think that because of those beliefs that you form when you're between 0 and 7. And it's because you're in this theta state. You're in this theta state, this receptive state. So theta occurs naturally right before falling asleep. So the door opens to your subconscious mind to reprogram it just before you fall asleep. That little moment before you go to sleep, that little window of opportunity is when you can start to program your subconscious mind. So this is, again, the theta state that you're in. Right after waking up, so essentially I want you to logically think about this as this sleepy state before you go to bed and this sleepy state that you're in when you wake up. That's ultimately what I want you to think about theta state as. You also get into this state during meditation and in deep relaxation. And this is when the conscious and analytical mind is quiet. Okay, when the conscious and analytical mind is quiet, then the subconscious becomes highly receptive to new information. So there's no resistance, okay? You've got less resistance to take on this new information, and that's why theta is a very good state to get into when you're trying to reprogram your subconscious mind. Because what is new information? New information is new wiring for your subconscious mind to completely form. Suggestions, imagery, affirmations bypass resistance and imprint more easily, okay? And that resistance is low because the conscious mind is quiet and the subconscious mind is more receptive, okay? And this is why hypnosis works. So hypnosis is one of the most powerful tools to reprogram your subconscious mind. It's probably the quickest way to do it if someone else is guiding you into hypnosis and doing it and they're the ones speaking and guiding you through it. Bedtime audio recordings update paradigms, okay? So that's why this state, this theta state, is why bedtime audio recordings update your paradigm, updates beliefs. Because when you're in that sleepy state, as we said, your subconscious is highly receptive to new information. So if you've got audio recordings that are affirming new beliefs, affirming new version of yourself, it's going to update your paradigm as you're going to sleep. And that's why visualization is so powerful when you're in a relaxed state. That's why visualization is so powerful. So step number 2, the second method is repetition. So this is neural pathway formation. So there's actually something called, and we'll write this out, there's something called neuroplasticity. Okay, neuroplasticity is the ability for your brain to form new neural pathways. Okay, cells that fire together, wire together. And the more that they fire, the stronger that they're going to wire together. So this is why repetition's a very good method to do and to use to reprogram your subconscious mind, because the more you fire these cells, the more that you fire these emotions, and I'm not trying to give too much away, but the more you fire these cells and these emotions, the more they're going to fire together, the stronger they're going to create pathways inside your brain. So that's why repetition works. So over time, repetition and doing something a lot, repetitively doing something, it becomes automatic. Think about brushing your teeth in the morning, right? When you woke up as a child, like a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, you didn't think about brushing your teeth. Now it's automatic. Now you don't even need to think about brushing your teeth. It's just an automatic process and behavior that you carry out. Why? Because it's been repeated. You've repetition for your whole life up until this point. And this is how habits, this is how your identity, and this is how behavioral patterns are formed. Repetition. And this is how you learned your name. This is how you learned your native language. This is how you learned how to speak the language. That's how I learned how to speak English. That's how you learned your motor skills, your social behaviors, and your emotional reactions. So your emotional reactions to things were formed and learned through repetition. repeatedly doing these things, okay? And that's what repetition does. And it's reliable. The good thing about repetition is it's very reliable and it's scientifically grounded, but the only thing is it's slower than other methods. So although it does work, it requires consistent reinforcement. And that consistent reinforcement ultimately is something that a lot of people struggle with, is that repetition, that consistent reinforcement. A little side note here, if you get some accountability, I don't even need to write it out, but I will. If you get some accountability, then guess what? That repetition becomes a lot easier because you have someone externally holding you accountable. But ultimately what happens is repetition will rewire through consistency, but not intensity. So it's not the most powerful way to reprogram your subconscious mind, but it does work. So if you've seen people speak about repetition before, they're not wrong. They're definitely not wrong. They've got validity in what they're saying, but it's just not the most powerful way to do it. So let's see, is it below here? Or is it all the way back up to the top? Okay, so it's all the way back up to the top. So method number three, and I'm going through this quite quickly because I want this to be quite an actionable video for you to watch. I don't want this to be lofty and I'm telling stories. I want this to just be, you know how this works, how to do it, and you go away with awareness that's going to change your life. So number three is emotionally charged experiences. So emotionally charged experiences is the most powerful reprogramming mechanism. And the reason why that is because emotionally intense events cause rapid formation of new neural pathways, immediate rewriting of beliefs, lasting behavior and emotional patterns. And this is why. Think about it. This is why trauma can reshape your identity overnight. So you go through a really traumatic experience, it changes who you are. You've maybe been through it yourself, or you can understand and apply this logically, that when you go through a traumatic experience, a really strong, emotionally charged experience, it will change who you are. That's why a powerful breakthrough creates an instant transformation. So imagine me and Jack my twin brother, are going to go to a mastermind this weekend. And we're going to be surrounded by guys that are making 6 figures a month as a minimum. Those guys are making 6 figures a month as a minimum. I can sense that I'm going to have a powerful breakthrough. I can sense that this weekend is going to give me an instant transformation and change who I am. Being around those types of people, I'm going to have shifts in my paradigm 100%. And it's going to be a very strong, emotionally charged experience. Being around powerful people that are talking, it's going to be amazing. And that's why a powerful breakthrough, a powerful realization, a powerful experience can change who you are and give you an instant transformation. Emotional experiences create the strongest memories. If you think about back to the strongest, fondest, most vivid memories that you can think of in your childhood, they're probably the ones that had the most emotion. In fact, they will be. They will be the ones that had the most emotion, because the more emotion that's involved, the stronger memories will be formed. And ultimately, your subconscious, and this is why this is so important, the only language that your subconscious speaks is emotion. If you want to really reprogram it, emotion needs to be involved. It's really, really important that you reinforce that. But your subconscious prioritizes emotional information. And the reason for that is there's a part of your brain called the amygdala, and that's part of your brain that it processes emotions, and it tags these events as important for survival. So things that you've experienced emotionally, it tags these as important for survival. And not only is that going to activate a part of your brain called the reticular activating system that's going to filter reality through millions of pieces of information, it's going to hold on to and make the information that is important to you, important to your survival, or aligned with your beliefs, it's going to make that stand out. So the more emotional experiences that you can create and experience, emotionally charged experiences, you can start to actually create a scenario in your life where your brain filters reality to see evidence to back those things that you deem to be important up. And that's going to be backed up by the most powerful method, which we've not got to yet. So wait. So the subconscious mind accepts feelings as facts. It does not distinguish, between factual information or anything like that. It generally just takes on these feelings as facts. It's got no real bias. It just takes on the emotions. Okay, there's nothing up here. And this is why visualization is so effective. Okay, this is why, when done correctly, visualization is one. Again, I'm going to spoil it, but it's the most efficient and most effective way to program your subconscious mind. Visualization, it really is, because you create a simulated emotional experience. So in this visualization, you're literally creating an emotional experience. The subconscious mind treats it as real. Why? Because it can't tell the difference between vivid imagination and reality. You imprint a new identity, you form new beliefs, and without needing real world proof yet. So without even needing the physical results in your life, by using visualization, you're creating emotional experiences that's tricking your brain into thinking that you already have it. It's tricking your brain into thinking that you're that new version of yourself. It's tricking your brain into thinking that you have the result already. And if we are considering that the subconscious mind dictates the majority of your behaviors, automatic behaviors, thoughts, decisions, reactions, then ultimately if you program the subconscious to feel what it's like to have the result, then all of those things that are dictated by the subconscious will start to be in alignment with the version of you that has the success. And we can logically understand when you start to show up and be the version of yourself that has the success, and your subconscious programs are aligned with that, the results must happen. And guess what? They're going to happen very, very quickly. And that's the exciting part about this. That is the exciting part about this. Because ultimately, you're struggling right now. Consciously, you're trying really hard, and you're like, how can I not get this result? How can I not get the result? It's because your subconscious mind is against you. So the most effective method, which I've already got too excited and revealed, is visualization. Okay, so I said there was only 3 ways, or there was 3 methods I was going to speak about, but not magical, I'm not going to call it magical. It's not magic. It just works. And it combines all 3 methods into one. That's what visualization does. It combines every single method that we just spoke about into one method. And why is it the most effective? Okay, so why is it the most effective? Well, it puts you into a relaxed, receptive state. What is that like? It's theta. It's like theta. It's like the first method we spoke about. It creates emotionally intense inner experiences. Okay, what did we speak about was number 3, the most powerful way to reprogram your subconscious mind was emotionally charged experiences. So you can create these emotionally intense inner experiences that your subconscious mind thinks is real. It doesn't know the difference between vivid imagination and real life experience. It's literally the same thing. You also repeat the same scene over and over and over and over again. I know that says sense, right? But it's meant to say scene. You create the same scene over and over again. That's the repetition that will form your identity, this new identity. As we spoke about before, cells that fire together wire together. So imagine we look over here. This is a little wire. So that's the first time you do visualization, and that's a new identity. But as you do the visualization, the repetition of it every morning, every night, every morning, every night, every morning, every night, every morning, every night. Well, guess what happens? This pathway of the new identity becomes super, super strong, really strong. And you might have this other pathway that's been formed from your childhood, okay, and we're using the color red to signify that it's probably not positive. This might actually cause you to not have the success. This might be the thing that's stopping you get results. So the cool thing is, as we're using visualization as the most powerful tool to reprogram your subconscious mind, we are forming this new pathway up here, this new strong pathway. And as if you didn't use your muscles when you went to the gym, your muscles would start to atrophy and die off, and it would start to become weaker. That's also what happens to this old pathway. So as we're forming this new pathway up the top, this gold one, this red pathway that's the negative patterns that are holding you back, it starts to atrophy and die off. Okay? And it will never go away. There'll always be parts of that pathway that exists. Okay? So because when these pathways form, they're always in your mind. They're always a part of your brain. They're always a part of your mind. They're always a part of your subconscious. But the more that we reprogram this new pathway into our mind, the more that we fire these cells together and they wire together, it's going to become stronger. It's going to then become the dominant automatic pathway that you will just carry out. The program will just be ran automatically based on that new pathway that you're forming. And that old one will die off and it'll atrophy. It'll become weaker and you'll stop using it. And ultimately, you'll stop sabotaging, you'll stop hitting this invisible ceiling, and then you're going to become unlimited when you tap into this new subconscious programming by using this technique. It also bypasses the conscious mind. Okay, so the conscious mind, the ego, it will have resistance at accepting new ideas a lot of the time. But visualization, because it gets you into theta state, and then you're actually experiencing emotionally experiences that your brain doesn't know is real, or imagination, it just takes it as the same thing. It's bypassing resistance. So there's literally no resistance. When you're in this state and you're visualizing, you're directly reprogramming your subconscious mind. Directly. There's no resistance at all. And also installs the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So this is a Neville Goddard, a little quote from Neville Goddard. And ultimately, when he speaks about the feeling of the wish fulfilled, if you've never heard of that before, the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the feeling of having what you want. It's the feeling of being the person that has the reality that you want. Ultimately, when you do the visualization, it's going to install that feeling inside of you. And that's super powerful because you're walking about and you've got this feeling installed inside of you. And as we know, and we can logically think about, there's a mechanism that operates inside of you. And it starts off with your beliefs, Okay, and a lot of the time this is going to be your subconscious beliefs that is creating, that is the beliefs that will be acting in this mechanism. Those beliefs will lead to how you think, the thoughts that you have as an adult or just in general, and then the feelings, okay, and then the actions, and then we can logically understand that the actions drives the outcomes in your life. Okay, so if we're walking about the positive feeling, the really powerful feeling, and we've reinforced this new belief of having the result that we want, then our thoughts will be dictated by that. This belief, this thought, this feeling will all be connected. They'll drive your actions, and then your actions will drive your outcomes, and you'll start getting outcomes that are aligned with this new program that you're installing into your subconscious mind through visualization. Hopefully this makes so much sense, because it really does, and this is how to do it. Again, this is going to be the last video you ever need to watch in subconscious reprogramming, because it genuinely is. This is the truth. Vivid imagination versus real life. Again, just to reinforce, your brain doesn't know the difference. Okay, you install the new identity, new memories, new emotional patterns, and your brain just thinks it's actually real life. So how to do it? How to actually do visualization? And there's a couple of different ways, but this is a way to do it. This is a very effective way to do it. And first of all, you need to get relaxed. You need to get into that theta state that we spoke about. So you're not going to be running about visualization, right? Visualizing. You're going to be sitting down or lying down. Then you're going to do some breath work. A very good breath work to be doing is 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. What this does is, this gets you into a very relaxed state, and it gets you into a parasympathetic nervous state. And what this is just your rest, your digest, your aligned state, that nervous system, that nervous state, which is really relaxed. And that allows you to just switch off the conscious mind. That allows you to really connect to essentially your heart, isn't it? It's like you start to get this brain and heart coherence. If you listen to Joe Dispenza, he speaks about that. Getting into that parasympathetic state allows your heart and your brain to be coherent, and you can start to really tap into some powerful visualizations, and that's the only real state to be in when you're doing this. Also, loosen the body, let the muscles relax. I personally do guided visualizations with my clients. Once we do it once, we use that recording, we use it as a part of their subconscious reprogramming, and they will repeatedly listen to that visualization that we do together every single morning, every single night. And again, it's part of my process. I'm preaching this because I actually practice it with my clients. Number 2 is choose one specific simple scene. Okay, but when I'm doing a guided visualization with my clients, it's a little bit more in depth because I'm there talking them through it. But a really effective way to do it is just have one specific simple scene. So I have a new car that I'm going to get. I'm not going to give that away. But I'm going to be with a certain person in that car. And when I do visualization in the morning, get into the relaxed state, I play this scene over and over and over again. I'm in the car. I get out the car. I see the car. I speak to the person. And what happens is I have that person congratulate me, right? So that person that I love is congratulating me. I actually give them a hug, but you could be giving the person in your life in this visualization, you could be giving them a handshake, okay? And they would be acknowledging your results. So, again, I'm so proud of you, okay? Saying something specific, like, again, I'm so proud of you for XYZ. One of my clients, Gavin, he's a property investor. I done a guided visualization with him, and ultimately, he shook his dad's hand. But as he was shaking his dad's hand, he got really emotional in the visualization. He actually had tears in his eyes. He was actually that emotional that he had tears in his eyes. And what did we do? We got him into this relaxed state like we spoke about. This specific scene I spoke through and I guided him to it. And he's seen his dad saying that to him. He really did. And the key is to make it emotionally rich. We need to make it emotionally rich. Just like my client Gavin, he had tears in his eyes. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the exact subconscious programming that you need to be doing to get rid of these negative patterns and install the new ones that's going to give you the results that you want. You also want to loop the scene. Okay, so there's no need to create a movie. Although, again, when I'm guiding my clients through, I do go into a bit more detail with them because they enjoy it and it's good and it still is powerful. But you don't need to create a movie because sometimes that'll make it more complicated for you to actually tap into it. Just pick one scene, one loop over and over again, that one scene, and one strong emotional hit. As long as you can repeat this, that is the most important part about this. You can feel it. You need to really feel it, which is step number 4. The stronger you can feel it, the better it's going to be, the more powerful this reprogramming process is going to be. Emotion is more important than the picture. So it doesn't matter about the complete exact details, like to the T, like how long your fingernails are. That's silly. The emotion is more important. So feeling that emotion is the most important part. And step number 5, when you're doing it and you're playing over this scene over and over and over again, stop when it feels like effort. Okay, because stress will switch on the conscious mind. The conscious mind will cause you to go into or beta brainwaves, which is that alert state. You go into that when you start to stress out and start to overthink it a little bit. So don't keep repeating it until it starts to feel like effort. When it starts to feel like effort, just come out. Just come out of the state, and then don't necessarily try to repeat it. But to me, it never really feels like effort because it's always a really positive feeling. But just keep looping it and looping it and looping it until it feels like you're almost straining to try and keep looping it. That's when you would stop, okay? And timing is really important. So like we spoke about with the theta state, before you start your day, state before action. So important. Your state becomes before action. So for my clients, I've got an alignment protocol that allows them to prioritize state before they act in the day. If you don't prioritize your state before you go into the day, think about it like this. If you don't brainwash yourself before you start your day, you're not, what will happen is life will brainwash you. So if you don't prioritize your state, if you don't gain control of your state, then you'll go throughout your day and life will control what state you're in. So it's so important that state comes before action. So important. And also before bed. So before bed's really, really good. And you might notice actually, just to from real life experience and clients experiencing it, you might notice if you wake up straight away and do a visualization, you'll fall back asleep. Like really just knock yourself back out. I would recommend getting up, going to the toilet, having a little sip of water, and sitting up in your chair. Don't lie in your bed and do it. Do not lie in your bed and do it. You'll fall back asleep. So getting up, walk about, move a little bit, drink of water, sit in your seat. So sit in your seat, maybe slightly leant back, but if you're lying flat on your back, you can do it, but you're likely going to fall asleep and it will ruin the experience. So maintain this daily is what is going to get you the real results ultimately. You're not going to get real results if you don't maintain this daily. You need to develop a habit of thinking about it. Develop the silent habit. There's a book called Reality Transurfing, really, really good book. Let me actually plug you with this right now. Because if you've watched this much of the video, you deserve this plug. So there's a book here, Reality Transurfing. Let's see. I might drop a book here. I'm doing it for you guys. So there's a big book, Reality Transurfing. Okay, a big fat book. Okay, but then there's also the shortened version, which is the practical course to creating your own reality. And this is allowing you to essentially take all the lessons from this 800-page book that you don't really need to go and read. You can if you want, but allows you to learn it in 7 to 8 days. And essentially what this speaks about is creating the silent habit of just having the image of your goal in your mind all the time. So when I'm driving my current car, I'm driving the car that I want. I'm driving the Porsche. When I'm walking about my day to day, I've developed a habit of thinking about what I want. I just keep thinking about what I want. Keep thinking about what I want. So you need to develop that habit of thinking about what you want. Because ultimately, even going back to this mechanism, wherever it is, if I can't find it very quickly, I'll go back. Yep, so we go back to here. If we're consistently thinking about what we want, we're going to be then consistently triggering the feeling and the action and then therefore the outcomes, okay? And remember, because you're using this technique, that belief is already reprogrammed because you're using the most powerful technique, which is visualization. So develop the habit of thinking about it all the time. Use a sentence that reminds you of it, okay? So again, it could be that sentence of the person that you love congratulating you. I can't believe that you've achieved it. I can't believe you're making £100,000 a month. I'm so proud of you. Could be something like that. But just trigger a sentence that takes you back into that state and makes you think about it and feel it. Do it when you're driving, do it when you're in the shower, do it when you're walking, okay? You cannot overdose. You can't overdose on this shit. You can't overdose. I'll say it again. You can't overdose on this. The more you do it, the more you're going to program it. The more you need to reinforce that. You cannot overdose. It's actually not possible. And remember, okay, I need you to remember, you want the feeling, not the thing. So you do not want the thing. Okay, you don't want the thing. You don't want money because you want money. You don't want a nice car because you want a nice car. You want money because you're chasing the feeling of freedom, of abundance, of security, of happiness, of gratitude. You're chasing these feelings, right? So what you get to do is you get to feel now. Okay, we only have now. The only time that you get to experience in life is now. We do get to use visualization, experience the future, and go into the fourth dimension. Not even going to go into that topic too much, but into your imagination. And you get to feel the reality now in your mind, right? Cool, perfect. But we only ever physically experience right now. So if you are never feeling as you do when you have the result right now, you're never going to have the result right now. If you're always saying to yourself, I'm going to feel good when I get the result. I'm going to feel good when I get the result. Well, guess what? The result's just going to keep being over there. You need to do it now. So that's really, really important, really, really powerful reinforcement. You need to be before you become. Be before you become. You cannot be become if you're not already being. So matching that state of being is being in the feeling, thinking like the guy, feeling like the guy, acting like the guy, and essentially reprogramming your subconscious mind to align with the version of you that has the success, like we just spoke about. You need to have before you can have. You need to have before you're in a state of having, right? I couldn't have this little Apple pen if I didn't already have this little Apple pen. I couldn't have this top if I didn't already have it. It's a complete logical fact that I couldn't have this without already having it. So you can't have if you're not in a state of already having the thing, okay? Very, very simple. And finally, let go and know. Let go and know. You do not want to be forcing this result. It doesn't work like that. You need to let go. Let go of the need to have the result. Okay, you need to let go. You cannot become emotionally dependent on seeing these results because remember, your subconscious mind literally does not know the difference between vivid imagination and reality. We've spoke about it. You don't need physical results. You don't need real life proof right now to back up the fact that you've already got what you want. You can use visualization. So let go of needing the material and just know it must happen. Just know that everything that I've said in this video is backed up by neuroscience, backed up by human behavior, backed up by, you can even say metaphysics, but it's been a lot more focused on neuroscience. It's backed up by the goats in this world. The goats that really preach and teach this, I've learned from them. And I'm here to translate that knowledge and wisdom into a video like this so you can apply it and change your fucking life. It's really, there's no lofty shit. I'm not saying this because I want to look cool or smart or whatever. This is information that if you know, you'll change your whole life. This is information that you'll see people talking about. They had this big shift and got huge results really quickly. How did they do it? Well, they reprogrammed their subconscious mind. Ultimately, that's what happened. Your subconscious mind dictates your identity, who you are, dictates what you believe. It's all your beliefs. It's the programs that you've been writing your whole life up until this point where you've started to go, I can't get results and I want to get results. So if you don't actually go back in and rewrite this program, you're always going to be controlled by the program. So hopefully this is really, really clear. I'm going to end the video now so I don't keep talking and waffling. I want this to be very concise and impactful for you. But I want you to understand how to reprogram the subconscious mind, how this actually works. And honestly, will you go away and do it yourself without someone like me helping you or locking you into a system that helps you do it? Maybe not. But there's a link in the bio. And if you've got to this point in the video, I think you're probably ready to work with someone like me to make this happen. But there's a link in the bio that you can click and have access to a one-to-one call with me. We can speak about where you're currently at, where you want to go, and if you fill out the little questions, I'll understand if you're someone that I can work with. And if you are, you're going to reprogram your subconscious mind. Because you're not just going to be left to your own devices. I've got a full success system that I help clients lock in with. I've mentioned that a couple of times in this video. And in fact, the things that I've mentioned, there's only one little part of it. There's a full success system that makes success inevitable. So if you want to really achieve the big goals that you've got, and I mean inevitably become successful as long as you lock it in, click the link below, book a call, let's have a conversation. But other than that, I appreciate your time and attention. I genuinely love and appreciate anyone that's watched the video to this point. That's why I'm saying I actually love you. You're fucking such a legend. And yeah, appreciate your time and attention. I'll see you in the next video. And don't watch any other video on how to reprogram your subconscious mind because this is the answer. You don't need anything else. I'll speak to you soon.